Oh, sorry. Not yet. Not yet. Yeah. Okay. Sweet. What's up? How's it going, everybody? How's it going? How's it going? Let me get my face on the screen. What's up? Oh, sorry. I just ate dinner, and now I'm gonna die. I ate dinner, and now I'm gonna die. How's everybody's day been? Hope everybody's Sunday has been good. Hope everybody's been chilling out. Good, doing nothing. Hello, hello. Yeah. Honestly, me neither. Nothing much has gone on for me today. I forgot to buy... Did I tell you guys I was making liquor? So, I have been for like... Since maybe the beginning of February, I've been making my own liquor. I don't drink or anything, but... Same? And I forgot to buy the cherries and the peach for the peach schnapps and the cherry moonshine I was gonna make. Just surprised your friend who's homeless a job and $10,000. He's crying right now. I'm so happy I did this for him. And... I woke up yesterday night or yesterday morning, and my blueberry wine and my strawberry mango liquor, the filters had blown off because of how much carbonation was in it and how stuffed up it was. So I have to be careful with how much fruit and liquid I add into these jars, because this shit just explodes, man. But that's all that's been happening with me. Has anything else been happening? Not really. I've just been going to work and nothing happens at work, so... I did talk about liquor yesterday. Okay, gotcha. Makes sense. But alright, I guess I'll get the game up on the stream then. Let's see. We are playing Suzerain tonight. I'm sussying my rain. Where is this? RPG. There we go. I'm excited for, Torpor to come out with, another country for Suzerain. I don't know what country it will be, or if it will even be good, but I'm hoping it is. I bring it up every single stream. I figured. Boo! Ah! Is this the music that plays when you're driving in Rue Valley? It is. You've been taking a break from finishing your silly rock game? It's kind of a nightmare, Graham, I'm gonna be honest. I would rather, honestly, rather than making a game, I would rather just write a book. And I think that's what I need to do, because I'm just not... I think like, if I want to make a choose-my-own-adventure story, it would be better just as a book, rather than, like, an RPG game. That's what I realized after doing the game development for a little while. I was like, nah, I'd rather just write a book. Even though I don't know anything about writing books. Oh my god, this game's taking a little while to load up. Okay, let me get this up on the screen. We are back again with Suzerain. We're doing our corrupt liberalism run. We're doing our oligarchy run. How do you do this again? I've never used OBS before, so please bear with me. Alright, my game capture has thus ceased working again, so maybe window capture will do it for me. Yep. Pretty much immediately. Grabbed onto it immediately. Window capture wins again. Also, my window capture in vertical is kind of being a saucy so-and-so right now. There we go. Alright. Sweet. Let me get the chat back up. A bit of a bookworm? Yeah, a little. I do enjoy reading. It's fun. Have I ever heard of Everything Strays by Jake Neutron? No, I have not. After this, can I play Battle Cats? Tayton? Yeah, of course, man. I'll do that. I'll do that after we're done playing this. Do-do-do-do. Now, I don't remember which options we picked for this run. I think I did say I was gonna go east, but I also want an oligarchy. It's gonna be kind of tough. Alright, let's get into it. Maybe I should do a new run. It's been like 2 weeks since we started this run. Oh, it's not. It's not moving. The screen isn't moving. We love to see it. Give me a Windows 10. Give me an automatic. Yeah, give me Windows 10. Thank you. The game has also been loading very slowly lately, so I'm not sure what's up with that. I can do a Rizia run. I think if I start another Rizia run, I would go Theocracy. That just seems like the most fun. Because it seems like you have to force a monarchy in Rizia, which I'm not big on. You were listening to the radio in October, the day your friend died, and the first one that came was See You Again by Charlie Puth. It made me cry. Still does. I miss him so much. Charlie Puth is still alive. You don't have to cry. The Theocracy. True. Alright, we got a lot of information on the screen right now, but only one thing to do, which is very funny. The Companion Security Pact. The CSP and Federation of Enraka sign historic NAP. A significant step forward in international diplomacy, the CSP, an intergovernmental military and economic alliance of 9 countries led by UC, has signed a 5-year non-aggression pact with the Federation of Enraka Islands. The landmark agreement underlines the CSP's commitment to broadening its influence beyond its home continent of Catania, while maintaining peaceful relations across the globe. The pact demonstrates the CSP's ongoing efforts to peacefully extend its influence across the Enrakan archipelago, marking its important turn in the complex geopolitical landscape as the CSP strengthens its global position to counteract the capitalist influence of the ATO. This agreement signals a commitment to strategic, peaceful expansion that respects the sovereignty of nations that lie in the ocean between UC and Arcasia. Can I get a location for the Federation of Enrakan Islands, or is that just not on the map at all? I don't think it's these guys. This is Rika. These are the Anticians. Sea of Nem. I don't think we can see it on this map. Yeah, we definitely can't see it on this map. Oh, Rizia! Rizia congratulates me! Holy yapping to yapping? That's the stream. For all the people who have never been here before, which is most of you, I read on this stream. That's pretty much all I do. I don't play the funny shoot. I don't play funny ultra kill. I don't run around in Fortnite. I read a book. I hope that's okay. Rat Ringmaster is a good name, by the way. The people of Rizia sure are. Ain't that the truth? King Ramus Taurus of Rizia, he's trying to rizz me up. We haven't even met, and he's trying to rizz me up. Has formally extended warm congratulations to President Anton Rain following his electoral success. In an official address, he praised Swordland's so-called democratic ethos and expressed a keen interest in fortifying bilateral ties under the Rain administration. The king anticipates a future of close cooperation and mutual respect between the two nations, regardless of governmental difference. Alright, folks, let's get fucking corrupt. Promising agricultural growth in Sarna. For the first time in 3 years, the ag output of Sarna has increased. Many experts link the increased output to both a drop in temperatures and new farming practices that have been adopted in recent years. Additionally, farmers are now assessing more generous credit allowances from the government that were left over from the Alfonso administration. The Ministry of Agriculture reports that the region's agricultural industry has the potential to become a powerhouse in the future if investment persists. We'll see about that. We'll see whoever pays me the most money. Lankerg. Lankerg in Agadland, huh? The infrastructure report. Oh, excuse me. The recent collapse of the tourism industry in Lankerg has led to a reduction in trade tariff, traffic, and road maintenance. The road network is currently in service, but is in need of substantial improvement. Ports, country roads, and bridges similarly suffer from a lack of investment. Firms doing business in Lankerg report a significant shortage of warehouse facilities, particularly refrigerated facilities, with implications both for the transportation system and the ability to serve the population's basic food and health needs. Okay, Leshavens. Sea rig maintenance. The Gasm sea rig off the coast of Leshaven has paused oil extraction operations for essential maintenance. The rig has been a significant contributor to Leshaven's oil output, and its temporary shutdown could impact the city's production levels. The maintenance timeline remains uncertain. The local government is monitoring the situation and making arrangements to ensure minimal disruption in the city's oil supply. Until then, normal operations remain suspended. My fucking oil economy, brother! My fucking oil economy! You think I can sell off a piece of, like, Nargis? Like, this piece of Nargis and, like, Agenland to Rubberg to put money in my pocket? We're definitely taking that. The recession led to a reduction in rail assets, with more than a fifth of the railway network itself antiquated, being mothballed in the recent years, while the main lines of the railway network are currently in service. Increasing demand in goods from Gelsord to the capital is pushing the network to its limits. The rail signaling system in the region dates from the middle of the last century and is also in need of improvement. Agreed. Morna, increasing unemployment in Morna continues to rise as the recession continues. The change in economic conditions is historic and stunning in its speed, said the mayor of Morna. In the aftermath of the crisis of 51, the unemployment rate in Morna rose to 9% in the following year. The last 6 months have almost erased all gains in employment over the last 2 decades. We are at a 9 government budget and a 4 personal wealth, and our economy right now is stable. Interesting. We're definitely in a recession. What a drop, dude. That was the last president? Alfonso moment. Fucking Alfonso moment, man. The booming wine in Boren. In Boren, there has been a significant surge in demand for local wines. The sudden increase has led to a busy season for vineyards and wineries across the region. The cause of this rise in demand comes from the international interest. It's certainly driving economic activity in the city. Wineries are ramping up production to meet the increased demand. A continued trend could further stimulate the region's economy. Gruny is an interesting region because it's got like tourism and wine, and you can build an airport there and stuff like that. It's pure capitalist nonsense. A beacon of hope for Swordland. The Swordland Tourism and Cultural Preservation Act, currently under deliberation in the Grand National Assembly, is a shining beacon of hope, aimed at enhancing the tourism appeal of Boren, Ribéry, Leshaven, Arica, and Benfey. The act promises to position Swordland as a global tourist destination. As the nation grapples with economic hardship, the bill's potential to boost tourism and cultural preservation efforts provides a much-needed silver lining. That should be good for the economy, at least. Whom doesn't love inflation? Please don't say job appointment. No! economy meeting held in Whole Sword, contacts close to the government report that yesterday Swordland's economic policies have been planned behind closed doors. Shortly after the meeting, that was also attended by President Rain, the Ministry of Economy has released a statement regarding their short-term economic plans, which included the promotion of a free market economy. That's true. That's true, brother. That's true. That's what we're doing. Unfazed by recent political developments, GASM is set to bolster Swordland's infrastructure and support its ongoing development efforts. As one of Swordland's largest corporations, GASM's financial aid, logistical support, and equipment aid are crucial to Swordland's economic resurgence. The support provided by the corporation, whose roots are intertwined with our nation's own, exemplifies the corporation's dedication to Swordland's prosperity. This advertisement was sponsored by the Alfonso Foundation. Thank you. Thank you, Swordland today. Thank you so much. Thank you, dude. Thank you, I needed that. God. Whatever, dude. Armadine Industries pioneering electronics. At The Economist. A new prototype for the first pocket radio was displayed by the Arcasian electronics company Armadine Industries in Ventry City. After 6 years of research, the engineers behind the pocket transistor radio have revealed that the material science questions regarding the composites have been solved. The company is now filing the patents for the product. The CEO of Armadine, Aaron Bridges, is predicting an IPO at VCSE in the upcoming years and a bid to raise further investment. Mr. Bridges has called for all venture capitalists who believe in the future of science and technology and the marketplace to invest in the company. The president of Arcasia, Dwight Walker, praised the bright minds of Arcasian engineers following the announcement and called for further technological advancements for the military-industrial complex. I see. Ah yes, Swordland. The Republic of Swords. All of my people are made of swords. Just a bunch of swords with legs and arms. The Lashaven Times reports on freezing temperatures. The Meteorological Institute has reported the record low temperature of -29 in the city of Suzerain. A warning for frostbite has been issued in the cities southern Bergia. People are advised not to go out unless they must due to the risk of frostbite. Schools are closed for this period. Suzerain. Where is Suzerain? Oh fuck. That's right, because it's mountainous over there. I don't know how I want to deal with Bergia yet. I really don't. I'm going to... I'm thinking... I wonder if I could do a red-brown alliance against the conservatives in power. That's nationalist violence, brother. A man in his 20s has been beaten with baseball bats in a paramilitary-style attack in Arvory. The man claims to have been attacked because of his ethnic background as an Agno-Swordish citizen. He was approached during a walk in the park by a group of right-wing extremists who are suspected of being regulars at the local National Front Party office. The group inflicted injuries to his legs and arms, police said. The man was brought to the hospital after making his way to the nearby property. The police service of Arvory said it was a brutal attack for which there is no justification. There is no place for attacks such as this in our society, said Eric Neal, mayor of Arvory, and called for unity and urged restraint from the populace. No shot, dude. No shot. Might take some inspiration from Swordland. I personally much prefer Swordland over Rizia. I think Rizia is good. I think Rizia focuses way too much on managing resources that you, as like a monarch, have to manage. I think Swordland does it better because you only have 2 numbers instead of 3, I guess. If I was you, probably skip the reading. The game is only reading. There's nothing else to the game other than reading. What are you talking about? Like I said, this channel is mostly just reading. I know some of the youth aren't happy for me to say that, but sometimes you guys are gonna have to actually read a book one day and not just have ChatGPT do everything for you. A Little Kingdom of Swords is an idea that is very funny, Graham. Just have like the Little Kingdom of Swords is now in economic recession. I'm gonna get their asses, Cherry. Read a fucking book, dude. It's fun. Alfonso ditches Lothburger Group, a sign of discord. Ewald Alfonso, the once influential political figure and former president, has publicly severed ties with the influential Lothburger Group. Frustrated by the group's direction, Alfonso, the current chairman of GASM, is determined to steer his own path, despite this apparent show of independence. One can't help but view his decision as a demonstration of a growing rift within Lothburg. Alfonso's political failures, including a devastating loss to President Anton Reign in the 53 elections and his triggering of the 51 recession, cast a long shadow over this move. Okay. Interesting. Let's see. A meeting of the media strategy at the presidential palace. Lucien and Peter arrived at my office to talk about recent developments in the media strategy. They both took their seats across from me. Lucien put on his reading glasses and quickly went over some documents. Peter turned to Lucien and nodded. Greetings, gentlemen. I've just received further information from the interior about the sudden fire that broke out at the Whole Sword State University archives nearby. Tell me more. The initial reports from the Whole Sword Police Chief indicate a potential arson case. In accordance with protocol, the Swordish Intelligence Directorate has been called. Is the SID really necessary for this? Why would anyone hit the archives of a university in the first place? I see no logical motive there. It seems like the Chief suspects foreign sabotage. They informed us that a large section of the archive has been destroyed. It includes tens of thousands of globally recognized research documents, and original by the great thinkers of our people. It is a shame so much knowledge was lost. Luckily, most originals have copies in the other universities and some international libraries. The first edition of my favorite book, The Geopolitics of Swordland, by Herman Iqua, was destroyed too. Conrad is a Swordish political scientist, historian, and writer. I don't know much about Lucien. Retired professor of political sciences from Whole Sword State, Iqua was born in 1880 in Conrad to a family of soldiers. Iqua is the first Swordish national to have been awarded the prestigious Volpitzer Prize, a distinction later also achieved by Bernard Circus, who became the second ever recipient for Swordland. Iqua pursued his strong interest in political sciences after completing his studies and becoming a professor. He garnered the respect of opposite and like-minded academicians. Whoa, that's a word. Academicians? After publishing dozens of research papers. One of his most notable works is The Geopolitics of Swordland and Post-Revolution Synthesis. The renowned books he wrote took the intelligentsia of the country by storm, began influencing many political decisions of the first Swordish government under Saul. After much prominence and discourse in front of the academic eye, he stepped away from public life following a period of sickness. Currently, he resides in Conriat in his family estate. I'd like to know what those books say, for sure. Maybe it was just a freak accident. We do have the copies of the most important works, so no single fire can eradicate our knowledge. I see no point in destroying employee records, either. More importantly, Lucien mentioned that Marcel Caronti contacted him. The Carontis had always been known as one of the richest and most influential families in Swordland. Marcel Caronti was no exception. He was the oldest son of Conrad Caronti, the industrialist and media mogul who founded Haas, the richest man in the entirety of Swordland. Lucien turned to me. He has offered to meet with you, Mr. President. What does he want? After the passing of his father, may he rest in peace, Marcel aims to become the next CEO of the Haas conglomerate. He mentioned a productive collaboration. They are a powerful and influential media conglomerate to start with. They own the Swordland Today newspaper, the Swordish Broadcasting Corporation, which means it would be wise to have them by our side. Sorry for interrupting. What does productive collaboration entail? Sounds like there's potential here. There's definitely potential, a potential that could go both ways, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. First, we need to determine our general approach to media. I'm no media expert, but Lucien made some very interesting arguments at the preparation meeting yesterday. There are two ways we can approach the media. One of them is by influencing it, which has clear advantages. The other one is keeping it independent. The media is a tool to be used. I agree. Media plays a huge role in adapting public opinion towards our views and policies while helping us avoid damage from scandals or mistakes. While I do acknowledge that this will sound a bit harsh, I certainly believe that our perspective, knowledge, and experience allows us to have superior judgments compared to the average Swordish citizen. Oh, we're gonna get so corrupt, brother. We're gonna be so fucking filthy rich, brother. We're gonna be taking bribe after bribe after bribe. It's over. You had a proper map, it'll take 30 minutes or more to get the kingdom since he plays a rock. That's very funny, Graham. It should be like, Graham, it should be like this expansive, like, fun game with really deep quests, but because he plays a rock, it's impossible to do anything. Like, the game should be like 6 gigs worth of writing, you know? It should be just, like, incredibly in-depth. But because you move so slow, you can't really do any of it. I share your opinion. I concur. Even if we don't use it, we should be able to have control over it. You both are aware of my certain expertise with public opinion swaying. I will make sure the media is on our side. 2 knocks were heard on the door. Who is it? It's Livia, Mr. President. Livia Suno, my new secretary, entered the office. Her dark curls bounced as she crossed the room to my desk. She spoke with a slight lilt in her voice. This is a fucking Rumbergian spy. Excuse me, Mr. President. Mr. Galade's secretary has been calling me and wanted me to relay a message. Marcel Caranti, the new CEO for Haas Conglomerate, is on the line for Mr. Galade. Well, the ball's in our court now. Would you like to talk to him, sir, or would you like me to? I'll talk to him. Connect the line in my office. Right away, sir. Connecting the call to line 1. Livia left the room and the phone started ringing. I picked it up. You know the rock sliding sound everybody uses? Yeah. Yeah, the ee one. That's a good one. The President speaking. It's an honor, Mr. President. I know your time is valuable, so I will not waste any of it. I was just elected CEO of Haas. My strategy in the running of this conglomerate will be different than my father's approach. This is why I'm offering a partnership deal regarding our media branch. I'd like to formally invite you to my resort near Conrad for a meeting to discuss the details. Thank you for the offer. I'd be interested in a meeting. You will not be disappointed, I promise. Well then, I will let you return to your packed schedule. See you later, Mr. President. See you later, Mr. Garanti. Garanti. I hung up the phone. I'll set things up right away. Expect a worthwhile meeting next month. It's settled then. Looking forward to next month. I wonder if he has a pool. Lucien looked at his watch. It appears we're done for today. We will continue where we left off later. Thank you for your time. Good work, Marcel. Keep it up. Lucien and Peter nodded before gathering their documents, leaving my office. We were already getting the attention of key figures and potentially dangerous ones. Yes! Let's take a bribe, dude! It's bribe time. It's fucking bribe time, mate. The Republic of Kairut. Kairut expresses approval of Swordish democracy. The Republic of Kairut congratulated President Anton Rain on his recent election victory in Swordland. Chancellor Inos Adriumur of Kairut extolled Swordland's democratic process and the peaceful transition of power, emphasizing shared values. Kairut expressed positive outlook to continue diplomatic collaboration and mutual growth within Swordland. Swordland these nuts, man. How about you sword these nuts? Fluctuating energy prices, that's no good. The economy looks like it's on the move again. Declining energy output at the Volgan Dam. Why? I wanted to read that. Fuck. I was gonna say, are we losing water? What happened? We could be from Lesbia, for all I know. That's fun. Okay. Ribbery. Tourism at Ribbery. Thoughts on swords? Yummy. Ribbery, with its rich historical sites, unique culture, and natural beauty, has untapped tourism potential. However, the city lacks the necessary infrastructure and promotional activities to become a fully fledged tourist destination. Local officials are actively seeking further support to develop Ribbery's tourism sector. Any strategic plan for Ribbery's development will require a focus on infrastructure and the promotion of its attractions. Boosting tourism could significantly enhance the city's economy and create numerous job opportunities. Disgusting. That's disgusting. Sorry, I gotta look at my funny phone. Alright, I've looked at my funny phone. It was cold out today. It's been cold out a lot lately. People keep telling me there's gonna be snow here, and I'm like, no shot. No shot at all. Invest in a mega project, and then party committee reports. The Reform Committee reports that any potential change to the Constitution in the direction of the reformists will likely result in strong opposition from the National Front Party. The members of the Assembly in support of such direction seem to be in great number and possibly make up a majority in the Grand National Assembly, while most members of the USP seem reluctant about supporting such changes. Sid joins the HSU fire investigation. Further investigation by the police department revealed potential arson case with no identified suspects yet. The police chief of Holsword has voiced concern about suspected sabotage by foreign nation, inviting the Swedish Intelligence Directorate and the investigation to expand the investigation. The area is cordoned off from public to discover further evidence. The Cid, huh? Suspicious fire ravaged the HSU. The rector of the HSU, Sander Navik, reported that a fire broke out in the archives of the University Academic Administration building, causing fire damage to scientific and other types of documents. The Emerald Hospital reported that 5 wounded people are being taken care of but in stable condition. After the fire was put out by firefighters, the Swedish Intelligence Directorate cordoned the scene in suspicion of foreign subversive interference. Several academics, including Herman Ikwa, have stepped forward with concern regarding the status of many famous academic papers and recognitions stored in the archives. Ikwa was quoted as saying, "Our great quests of knowledge should have been protected better." Konrad Garanti passed away. The first and most important modern entrepreneur Swordland has ever seen has sadly passed away today. People looked up to Konrad as a figure of success, respect, and wealth. After his immediate passing, his son Marcel took over his title as the new CEO of the Heart of Swordland conglomerate. The Haas, brother, it's the Haas. Gasm hires Freeze amid economic strains. As Swordland grapples with economic challenges, Gasm, one of the nation's largest corporations, has announced a freeze on new hires. The corporation integral to Swordland's energy sector and significant contributor to its economy has yet to announce when it intends to lift the hiring freeze. While this development is below the Swordish workforce, it's a reminder of the delicate state of our nation's economy. Interesting. Glamorous inaugural ball. The whole Sword elite gathers for a lavish state ball. Many citizens in the country are uncertain about their own future, but the state has no problems with wasting taxpayer money right from the start. We demand that these traditions of wasteful nature will become a thing of the past once the president settles in. The team here at the Radical will keep fighting for a better, more equal tomorrow for all. Boo. Excuse me. What? Ideological dispute between Galmland and Vogsland. Under the leadership of Galmland's second female leader, Bridged Halvorstidir. Breed? The ideological dispute between Galmland and Vogsland has intensified. Halvsdader's government has been actively promoting the development and implementation of the Galmish Manifesto, a unique interpretation of Carlos Marcia's communist theory. The country has been pushing. God, I can't read for the light. Hang on, let me get a drink, dude. The country has been pushing this agenda to other CSP countries, garnering support and building alliances in an effort to strengthen their position in the region. However, internal factions backed by Vogslandian socialism and United Contanian millennialism pose a significant challenge to Halvsdader's government. These factions are working to undermine the Galmish Manifesto and weaken Galmland's influence among its allies. As tensions escalate, both nations find themselves locked in a fierce ideological battle, with potentially significant consequences for regional stability and cooperation. Oof. Where? I don't think we can see Galmsland on this map. I don't think we can even see the USP on this map. That's the thing. Oh, there's Galmsland. Okay. Yelm. Refayik. They don't even own the fucking Sigil Islands. We should play Galmsland, man. We should play fucking Agnolia. How awful would that be? Alright, let's invest in a mega project. It'll be just like reading the old manifesto. Maybe I'm the one who needs to read a book, ain't that the truth? A decision to invest in one of 2 planned mega infrastructure projects. Yeah, of course I'm gonna invest. The Ministry of Economy has put forward 2 bold plans for mega infrastructure projects that would help with the economic recession in the long term. Investing in a project of this scale will take some portion of our budget, but could prove worthwhile if accomplished successfully. Let's do it. I got an 8 government budget. The CFB bill has been passed by the GNA, the Campaign Finance Bill. Electoral Campaign Finance Bill has been passed by our parliamentary, I think. Unless I'm not sure if we're unicameral. Our member assembly, I should say. Section 1 of this bill stipulates a significant change in the methodology of public funds allocation to political parties. The new measure replaces the previous system, based on the number of votes won in the general election, with a system reliant on the proportion of seats secured by a political party in the Assembly. Section 2 sets the annual financial allocation to political parties at 500,000 ren per each member of the Assembly. This shift ensures that financial support from public funds aligns more closely with a party's representative influence within the legislative body. Significant change in the methodology of public funds allocation to political parties. The new measure replaces the previous system, based on the number of votes won in the general election, with a system reliant on the proportion of seats secured by a political party in the Assembly. Section 3, a consequential effect of these amendments will effectively lead to a substantial increase in the election budget for the USP and a minor augmentation for other parties present at the Assembly. This restructuring of funding fosters a more proportional representation of party presence within the Assembly. Section 4 highlights an important consequence of this reallocation. Parties that do not meet the 10% election threshold will see their public funding effectively curtailed. This measure ensures that public resources are concentrated towards parties with a significant representation in the Assembly. I guess we could veto this. I don't know if I want to go against my own party, though. We are corrupt. Let's do it. Blech. I take and rat. Uh-oh. Somebody's not happy with this. Electoral funding reform. The campaign finance bill has been signed into law by President Rain after the approval of the GNA by majority vote on Friday following a 3-hour debate. Can I see what my GNA is made up of, or is that a no? I don't think I can... Oh, I can see my legislative makeup. Okay. Let's see. The PFJP has 70 seats, man. It's 250 seats in total. My judiciary has 5 old guards, 3 centrists, and 3 reformists. Interesting. Interessante. Interessante. Rat. Hey, bruv. Friends Richter, who objected to the funding package, saying it contained too much unfairness in the allocation of the budget, also sought to delay proceedings by demanding a formal recorded vote, but was overruled. The new law brings small changes to the criteria for the allocation of the campaign budgets and introduces no change to the total amount of public funds reserved for the political parties, which stands as 100 million SR. Interesting. A new law that further expands on the unfairness of our election system has been approved by the Grand National Assembly and was signed into law by President Rain. The USP hijacks the elections. The new law changes the rules of eligibility of public funds that are reserved for every political party in Swordland. Previously, the funds were given on the basis of the number of votes in the general elections. With these changes, the funds will be given on the basis of the number of seats the political party holds, which eliminates every party apart from the 3 that are currently in the Assembly. This insane law also results in the governing USP share from the funds to double. As Anton Rain's presidency begins, we at the Radical are already smelling the rot in Holsword. Your mom, dude, your mom. That's an electoral funding reform. Unfair electoral funding? It's chill, brother. It's chill. It's chill. Let's chill out. Just this... Oh, the potential... Oh! The potential for the investment project. I see. The view towards the Marcaean Sea from Leshaven was nothing short of exquisite. The seaside state residence, fittingly named the Blue Mansion, was large, fine, and accommodating. But enjoying the luxurious mansion wasn't the main reason of our visit. We gathered the economic team here to discuss the new infrastructure investment project. Half an hour had already passed since the start of the meeting. Unfortunately, I did not even have the chance to have my usual afternoon coffee. Look at the view from the windows. I let my mind drift for a couple of seconds. Simon's voice brought me back into the ongoing discussion. Mr. President, we need to focus on boosting the economy as quickly as possible. One of the fastest ways to achieve this is through the infrastructure projects. Agreed. On the one hand, businessmen are complaining about the slow logistical rail network between Whole Sword and Leshaven. Lilius started talking as soon as Simone took a breath. On the other hand, citizens are criticizing the lack of a proper highway connection between Leshaven and Arvery. The narrow roads by the seaside are not only dangerous, but also difficult to traverse. We need to heed the calls of our businessmen in the days of recession. Pick the most profitable option for economic growth. We're corrupt. We're not out to make a bunch of money, we're out to be corrupt. Agreed. Improving the rail connection from Whole Sword to Leshaven would be much more beneficial to our economy. It's not the business people who are suffering now, but ordinary folk. What really matters is that your first economic act accomplishes something tangible. Let's prove our capabilities. The people must know that the administration can get things done. We must improve the economy of the nation and bring it out of recession. To that point, I defined two important projects for your attention. The H3 Highway Project and the L1 High-Speed Railway Project. Mr. Hall repositioned himself in his chair. Shimon Hall? The Ministry can only support one project at a time with our current capacity and budget. Let's move on to the details of each. So which do you want to hear about first? The H3. The H3 project aims to improve the abysmal state of the road network in Agonland region bordering Agnolia. The area is home to several million Agno-Sordish and the Sordish citizens who currently feel neglected. There are no proper highway connections to and from Agonland. The mayor of Arvery, Eric Neal, has been asking for a bigger budget to develop the regional infrastructure. He told us that even trucks are having a hard time traveling through the main roads. The increased traffic is causing trouble for people commuting in and out of the region. Not sure if this region should be a priority for us right now. Let's take a more detailed look at the upgrade proposal. Take a look at the map. Lilius points at Leshaven. The H3 highway route starts in Leshaven, and from there it leads to Lenkenberg, and then it goes all the way to Arvery. As a result, the road network towards the Agnolian capital, Stallport, will also improve substantially. Okay. Excuse me. Sorry. She paused and leaned forward in her chair. As mayor, I saw the central government continuously neglect our country's Agno-Sordish-dominated regions. Is this administration going to continue that kind of negligence? It makes little sense to put investment in such a remote region. That is why we should initiate the L1 project. It has to be pointed out that the highway would be less beneficial in the short term. I have to disagree. It will increase the speed of transportation throughout the region. Our citizens will be quite pleased if we successfully accomplish this. Besides, if we enter trade talks with Agnolia, they will see the investment as a positive sign. Very interesting, but I still want to hear about the railway project. Your predecessor, Alfonso, failed to deliver on this campaign promise, but now we have the opportunity to start the construction of a groundbreaking railway project. As you know, our current trains cannot meet the standards of today. As many other countries adopt new electric engine technology to power up their trains, we're falling behind. News about the new electric trains in UC has piqued our business interest. They too want to transport resources and materials from Whole Sword to Leshaven with great speed and efficiency. Agreed, the superpowers have led the way with their high-quality technology. We've got to keep up. This could also empower businesses and bring investment. This should be our priority, growth and development optimization. Our plan is to upgrade the old L1 line from Whole Sword to Leshaven. It will transform it to a high-speed railway. Gus is pointing at Whole Sword while Simon was looking attentively. The planned construction starts right here at the capital. From there it will go to Enrica, and then connect to Gelsword, after which it will reach Leshaven, our economic powerhouse. He leaned forward. The L1 will significantly boost the economies of the newly linked cities and even the rural areas in between. Leshaven is our primary port, so the goods unloaded there will be transported to Whole Sword much faster. Yes, we should link these rural areas in the middle with the major city of Swordland. I believe this would benefit Swordish businesses and Swordland as a whole. For the wealthy and middle-class citizens of these regions, but not for the poor dears who wouldn't be able to afford the increased ticket prices. The mayor of Enrica, Curtin Lest, also requested this project to be prioritized. Businessmen of the region will be very content, which in turn will increase investments and employment. Therefore, I recommend the L1 high-speed rail project. I've made a decision. Thoughts on bullet trains? They're so fast, dude. They're so fast. I've decided on the L1 high-speed rail project to improve the connection between our most productive cities. Agreed, dude, agreed. The right choice, Mr. President. The negotiations will begin in the middle of this year. You will be able to award the contract to a corporation of your choice. The ministry estimates that constructions will be completed in 2 years if every step going forward is executed successfully. Thank you for all your contributions and thoughts. See you soon, Mr. Rain. Have a nice day, Mr. President. Evening settled on the beautiful coastline of Leshaven. Very good. And there's our project. Consider it a free dryer? Oh. I love to dry. I'm all dried out. Alright. The city has the L1 high-speed railway is now being built. Olsord is our capital, but Leshaven is our economic powerhouse. Ooh, all Swordish, all the time. All Rushianism. Alright, here we go. Invest in Arcasian company stocks. An opportunity to buy stocks from an Arcasian company. Oh shit. A personal investment opportunity has been relayed to Mr. Manger. An experienced stockbroker in Ventry City, Arcasia, is selling valuable shares of Armadine Industries, an up-and-coming electronics manufacturing company. We could invest or let the opportunity pass. Yeah. Let's do a point of wealth. I could invest. Residence of the President of Swordland, the reception of the inaugural ball. I just finished buttoning up my suit jacket when the doorbell rang. The Presidential Guard had arrived to pick us up from the inaugural ball. The ball was a 3-decade-old tradition, breathlessly anticipated by politicians, bureaucrats, and the press. All eyes were about to be on me. I called on Monica to get the children ready. Looking in the mirror, I straightened my tie and took a deep breath. After tonight, there would be no turning back. Suddenly, Diana hugged me from behind, startling me a little. Monica had fixed her hair into an elaborate braid, woven through with ribbons. Papa, Mama told me it's time to go. Hello, darling. I'm ready. Where's your brother? I think Frank is still upstairs, she shrugged. It was almost time to leave. The big ball was starting in less than an hour. Now where's my first lady? Monica came down the stairs. She was wearing a simple yet elegant beige sheath dress and short heels. Her hair had been neatly pinned into a chignon, showing off pearl earrings I'd given her for our 15th anniversary. All those years she had stayed by my side. Now we were about to begin the most challenging chapter in our lives. How do you do, Mr. President? Kiss her hand, of course. She extended a gloved hand and I raised it to my lips. Monica, my love, you look as gorgeous as the day we were married. Now there's that charm that got you elected. Frank trudged down the stairs. This thing itches. Frank tugged at the collar of his new tuxedo. He seemed ill at ease. I'm glad you're with us for the big night. Sure, Dad, I'm just dying to go. Papa, are these people going to be around us from now on? She pointed at the presidential guards at the door of the house. Swordland's most important family needs extra protection. These people are our friends, Diana. That's alright, baby. They're here to make sure nothing bad happens to your papa or his family. Monica held Diana's hand. Together, flanked by the guards, we walked out the door. Halfway to the car, Frank stopped abruptly and turned towards me. Then do I really have to go? Couldn't I stay home instead? I'm a little nervous myself, Frank, but I feel a lot more confident with my son by my side. Frank smiled reluctantly. Well, when you put it like that, sure, let's go. The presidential guard showed us the way as red and blue lights flashed around us. Sergei, my driver, ushered us into our armored limousine. Damn. The motorcade started moving towards the palace. I gazed out the window deep in thought. Anton, what are you thinking about? Nice car, isn't it? I was thinking that we've come a long way together, haven't we? Yes, we have, and there's still so much we'll accomplish side by side. Just remember, no matter what happens, the children and I will always be here for you. I'm gonna help Papa fix everything. Frank rolled his eyes. I know you will, honey. This means a great deal to me. After what seemed like just a few minutes, the convoy slowed to a halt. Sergei rolled down the limousine's soundproof partition. We're here, sir. Hope you enjoyed the drive. Much appreciated. How are you today? I'm just as good as I can be, but today is your day, sir. I'm glad you're in charge now. You know, my entire family voted for you. I won't let your family down, Sergei. I don't doubt that, sir. You are the one who sparked a glimmer of hope in all of us. Sergei opened the door for me. The normally imposing palace was festooned with garish banners that nearly made it look cheerful. A line of shiny luxury sedans stretched around. Politicians, bureaucrats, and celebrities, the creme de la creme of Sordland's elite, streamed inside the building. Good luck out there, Mr. President. I'll see you on the trip home, Sergei. Volkner. I stepped out and immediately found myself surrounded by loud voices and camera flashes. Hordes of eager journalists thrust their portable microphones my way. My guards fended off most of them, but one woman managed to dodge them and corner me. I recognized the Swedish Broadcasting Company logo on her press lanyard. Mr. President! Do you plan on working together with the opposition parties on the expected constitutional reforms? We're gonna work with everybody. Mr. Richter clarified that as long as you hold your promises of democratization, they will support you on these issues to the end. What do you think about this statement? We want the other parties to join him in this endeavor. One more question. One of your first acts as president was to sign a campaign finance law allocating public election funds by seats in the assembly as opposed to the number of votes. Is this a deliberate attempt to defund the Communist Party or the Bloody Workers' Party, neither of which have reached the election threshold? It was agreed on by the majority of the GNA. I couldn't use my veto on the first day. That's enough, ma'am, said one of my guards while nudging the reporter away from me. A path through the crowd was now open, and we quickly made our way to the entrance of the palace. At the same time, a dozen fireworks went off. The entrance was decorated with beautiful ribbons in Sordland's colors of white, yellow, and maroon. A lush maroon carpet had been rolled down the stairs. We entered the lobby and joined the throngs of people making their way towards the ballroom. As I navigated through the crowd, a familiar figure stepped into my path. It was Bernard Serkis, the acclaimed poet and now MP. His face bore a look of subtle defiance. Congratulations, President Rain. A remarkable achievement indeed. It's been a long time, Comrade Serkis. I appreciate your congratulations, but from one former Red Youth member to another, we both know our work has just begun. It's been a long time, Comrade Serkis. It has, President Rain, but once a Red Youth, always a Red Youth. I can't help but wonder how the winds of change will blow in our Swordland now that you've taken our helm. Perhaps now is the time that our long-nurtured dream of revolution will finally become a reality. You might be onto something, Bernard, but tonight, revolution or not, Mr. Serkis, is a night of unity for Swordland. But tonight, let's put politics aside and enjoy the evening. You're right, tonight should be a celebration. Remember to ride towards the sun is to invite flame, yet only through fiery peril can true glory be found. The light of it binds us all. Let's hope for the same for Swordland. I've taken up enough of your time, President Rain. This is your night, after all. Your family, friends, and country await. Have I used fireworks? I have. Beep, 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 beep. Neat. Cherry blowing up his hand. This is so sad. Thanks for sharing your wisdom, Mr. Circus. You certainly have a way with words, Mr. Circus. Well said, Bernard. I'll see you inside. Until we meet again. As I watched Bernard Circus blend back into the crowd, his words echoed in my mind. Were they mere poetic expressions, or a reflection of the real socialist sentiments stirring within the country? Behind me, I heard familiar voices. There they are, the most beautiful family in Swordland. Uncle Peter. Hi, Uncle Peter. It's great to see you. You two are growing faster than I am getting wiser. Mr. Vice President? Mr. President? Happy to see a familiar face, Peter. Evelyn. Peter's wife, Evelyn, approached us and shook our hands with a firmness that belied her delicate features. Congratulations, Anton. I have to say the results were clear to me from the beginning. There's a woman behind every successful man. What a gentleman. Monica smiled at me. Monica, how are you? You barely said a word. I'm more than relieved to have this roller coaster ride over with, but of course now the real work begins. Ah yes, managing the help, planning parties, daily trips to the salon to look your best for foreign dignitaries. Don't be so old-fashioned, Evelyn. I plan to use my power as First Lady to advance the position of women throughout Swordland. Equal rights for our sex are long overdue. What you say, Anton? Absolutely. And we'll work together to achieve that. Monica flashed me a smile. Diana suddenly jumped in between us and tugged on my sleeve. Papa, can we go? I want to see the ballroom. I want to see the balls room. I want to see where they put the balls. All I can read buffet. Oh, all I can breed buffet. Gross. Papa, can we go? I want to see the balls. I want to see where they put the balls. Of course, darling. Let's not delay. To the balls room. We left the lobby and made our way toward the ballroom. Inside, we were yet again surrounded by a noisy crowd, but this time it was the politicians who sought to appease the new authority in Swordland. I spent the next few hours shaking hands, joining various conversations, some serious, some superficial, and making speeches. Oh, fuck. Ah, Jesus. Never eat, folks. I will never eat food again. We finally settled down at our dinner table with the Vectorns as the band started playing some slow jazz. Ooh, that was tiring. I'll have to shake another hand. If I have to shake another hand again. Suddenly, a loud banging noise echoed from outside the ballroom, then another one, and another. The musicians stopped playing. Everyone in the room was looking around in confusion. Peter and I turned toward each other, realization dawning on both of our faces. Fireworks? No, gunshots! As soon as Monica heard the word, she lunged from her seat. Get the fuck down! Shield Monica and the kids. I threw myself on Monica, Diane, and Frank to shield them. Papa, what's happening? I knew it. We never should have come. He's so right, dude. He's so right. Chaos broke out as some guests flung themselves under the tables and others ran toward the door, screaming. Diana burst into tears while Frank tried to comfort her, hiding the fear in his own eyes. 3 more gunshots rang out loudly. Mr. President, are you all right? Carl Greaser, head of the Swordish police force, was running towards us with 3 more police officers in decorated uniforms. They all had their guns drawn. Heavy minigun SFX. Whee! You ate too much cheese, Jack? This is so sad. As soon as he made it to us and saw that we were unharmed, he let out a big sigh of relief. Thank God! Status report. Check the perimeter. He turned around quickly to his men. Check the perimeter, now! Paul Jansen, follow my lead. We will bring them to the safe room. He now turned to Monica, Evelyn, and the children and spoke in a softer voice. Do not worry. The situation is now under control. Please follow me. We promptly followed Carl through the winding halls and corridors of the palace. His men still had their guns drawn, which did nothing to ease the tension. On the way, Peter made an attempt to break the silence. What a fucking night. Could say that again. It's not over yet. Carl turned towards us with a serious face as we were about to round the corner. Quiet, please. Sorry, I talk when I get nervous. Me too, brother. Peter, shut up. Carl flipped a switch on the wall and a panel opened, revealing a hidden staircase leading to a large reinforced door. Inside, a set of emergency lights flickered on. The safe room was comfortable and spacious, with expensive-looking leather sofas. Small security monitors on the wall displayed grainy footage of each room in the palace. There was a boardroom and a pantry containing enough provisions to last us months. Monica and Evelyn sat the children down and started wiping their tears. Carl stepped away from us and made a few radio calls. When he was done, he returned to me and Peter. So what's the status? Carl's radio suddenly crackled to life. Every second felt like an eternity as he pressed his ear to the receiver. When it fell silent, he turned to us. Good news! We're not in any danger at the moment. The situation has been dealt with and the perimeter has been secured by the guards and police. He glanced towards Monica, Evelyn, and the kids. If I may, sir. He gestured towards a more private corner of the room and started speaking more quietly. This is what we know so far. We've confirmed that 2 people were gunned down in front of the palace. The attacker is one of them, and we have reason to believe he was working alone. He fired 3 shots at an MP, 1 to the head, 2 to the body, instantly killing him. Presidential guards at the palace immediately shot and killed the attacker. He has not been identified yet and will require an investigation. The MP that was killed was identified as Bernard Circus. This is huge, Anton. This will cause a lot of problems. A lot of problems. Peter pulled out 2 cigarettes and handed me one. He then turned to Evelyn. I could hear him trying to reassure that everything was going to be alright. He should have handed Evelyn a cigarette. Monica was still trying to tend to Diana, and Frank paced the room, mumbling that he should have stayed home. Comfort Monica and the kids. I sat down beside my wife and children. We're safe. I'll make sure everything's gonna be fine. We can't be sure of anything anymore, Anton. I lit my cigarette and took a deep drag. I was gonna see this through and keep my family safe, at all costs. I crushed the cigarette on the ashtray. On the ass tray, more like. On the D's nuts trays. Let's see. Rain calls for cooperation. President Rain gives signals about a cooperation with friends Richter and the PFJP and Kazaro Keebner of NFP ahead of the inauguration ball, regarding the remarks of Richter about a possible cooperation to fix the current problems of Swedish political institutions. We want the other parties to join him in this endeavor, said President Rain. Richter has long been vocal about his democratization plans, but maybe his demands for constitutional change might finally become a reality if President Rain leads a bill together with Richter's PFJP. We'll see. MP shot. Nation in shock. Swordland has been shocked by grave news today as an elected member of the parliament has been shot dead in a suspected political assassination. Political sirens were heard around the clock today as the whole sword police force increased security measures around the capital. The fact that such a violent act happened at the heart of the capital during the new president's inauguration celebrations has worried many citizens. The Red Youth has reported to have promised revenge. This seems like it has the potential to be a spark that would swirl the Swordland into a political violence of the 1920s. Oh. Goodbye, Circus. Remus Holstor. No. Monsieur Lek. Monsieur Lek. Security measures at the Capitol have been heightened after the murder of Bernard Circus. The mayor of Holstorg reports that everything is under control. Security around the Maroon Palace has increased with the combined efforts of the Holstorg Police Department and the Presidential Guard. Additionally, the entrance procedures to the palace are being revised with advice from security professionals. The police chief Carl Grieser reported that an investigation has been launched at the murder of Bernard Circus. I see. Emergency meeting at the Situation Room at the Maroon Palace. The mood in the Situation Room was gloomy. My cabinet members were gathered to discuss the shooting outside the palace. Lelius presented the initial report. Bernard Circus was shot dead at 9:03 p.m. in front of the palace gates. He was an elected independent member of the assembly and, as you know, a famous communist. She spat the last words out with some distaste. The guards at the scene were 50 meters away and immediately took action by responding and killing the assailant, who was identified as a member of the nationalist organization the Young Swords. The president and his family were unharmed, praise God. Why Bernard? An MP shot near the palace, that's absolutely unacceptable. I agree, we are re-evaluating our security measures, however the recession has affected my ministry negatively. This may well create a dangerous atmosphere where the left versus right political violence of the 20s could spark once again. A return to those days would be devastating. The coups are the reason why our country stagnated for decades. Nia Morgna, the Minister of Justice, sighed. The Red Youth has condemned the killing, but didn't stop there. They promised revenge. This will in turn spark further aggression from the young swords. The whole cycle started because Bernard Circus expressed his views. We can't simply look away. Hey, Cameron. Nia had always been one of the only members of the Justice Ministry truly deserving of the name. She'd survived countless attacks on her character while fighting corruption within the ministry. Rising to power had only compounded her sense of moral duty. Freedom of expression is part of our constitution. We can't have anyone, let alone an MP, shot for voicing different opinions. The nationalist young swords have overstepped, and they must face consequences for such an extreme action. This is not simply an overstep, but an attack on our country. Murder for political opinions is a thing of the past. Our administration is building something new. Murder for political opinions is a thing of the past. What a fuck-ass sentence. 9,000 Leo bucks. How likely am I to be shot in the head this run? You think so? Maybe. We are going corrupt mode. We're going corrupt commie mode. Agreed. We will reach out to the NFP and ask them to calm the situation with the young swords. The two groups have ties to Mr. Keebner's ties, and Mr. Keebner sees reason, after all, which can't be said about the young swords at times. Minister of Defense, Yosef Lensea, grunted in disapproval. He towered over the rest of us in full military uniform, his many war medals conspicuously on display. All due respect, man, but we shouldn't be quick to jump to conclusions before a full investigation has been conducted. We should refrain from making the issue a political one from the start. It will only add fuel to the fire. It's early, but will we attend the funeral? In my opinion, we should. The nuance here is to detach the person from the violent act. How can that be achieved when it was Bernard Circus we're talking about? He is the communist of Swordland. It's difficult, but an elected official has been shot. This is unacceptable for our new administration. We need to make sure we show our stance by condemning it at the funeral. Several police cars rushed past the Maroon Palace and everyone went silent. Regardless, ironic. A full investigation into all involved parties is underway. We will find the subversives and punish them soon enough, Mr. President. I'll do my best to help coordinate the administrative tasks. Justice will be served and the rule of law will return to this country stronger than ever. Only if we stay vigilant as a country, we must think about the upcoming budget. It's too soon to jump to conclusion. Reckless acts will have dire consequences. Agreed, we need to be patient until we have the full picture. Lucien took some notes after checking the latest newspapers and reports. It seems that the tensions between the communists and nationalists will escalate further. It will be very difficult to pass any meaningful change if there is chaos in the country. We can't fix the recession if there isn't stability. We will make it through this and deliver our promises. Hell yes, President Rain. This will be it for today, then. We will convene again soon. Thank you all. Keep us updated. The meeting concluded and the ministers left the room with concerned looks. It was hard to anticipate what would happen next. We're all gonna fucking die. Or at least me. I'm gonna get shot. That's chapter 2, baby. Murder at the palace. That's breaking news. Bernard Circus, a prominent independent MP known for his communist romanticism, has been murdered, leaving the Maroon Palace grounds at the inauguration ball of Anton Rain. Reports indicate a politically motivated assault by the far-right nationalists of the Young Swords. Shocking photographs have been leaked by the press showing blood-drip stairs at the Maroon Palace. We heavily condemn this sort of political violence. This is a very cycle the president must break with reforms. Hell no, dude. Thoughts on swords? Sharp. A few days later. A few gays later. See what I did there? Oh god, that's a lot of fucking pieces of paper. I'm gonna take a quick break. I gotta go dump my butthole in the toilet. Beep 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 beep. Alright, let me see if I can get the music going. Footsteps. That's pretty chill. Hang on. Let's wait for the music to load. Oh. Me mer me me mer me mer me 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 mer mer me 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 mer mer me. Sweet. All right, BRB.
Shadows linger, whispers lie, and faces shift as nights go by. Footsteps echo through the rain, and every corner hums my name. Memories that never age, garden shadows haunt a sage, and memories that never age. Footsteps echo through the rain, and every corner hums my name. Shadows linger, whispers lie, faces shift as nights go by. And what if pain is just a sign? Then there's more to seek, more to find. And what if this ache's not a curse, but a way to find my worth? But a way to find my worth. Footsteps echo through the rain.
Alright. Alright. Back to Shoreland, mate. Oi, it's fucking Enrica's going to the fucking World Cup, mate. Go on, Enrica, score some fucking goals. That's how that goes, right? Dee 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 dee. Dee 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 dee. Dee 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 dee. Hey Deku, what's up? Alright, let's see. We have a lot of information to... Oh, I gotta get some water, BRB. Yeah. Xbox off. Xbox on. Okay, Google. Siri, kill this fucking nerd. Oh. Alright, let's do this. Let's do this, mate. Alright, where are we at? Republic of Agnolia has something to say. Horton critiques trade. The leader of Agnolia has diplomatically critiqued the imbalance of trade between our countries. Concerns were raised over how much more Swordland profits from net trade in comparison to Agnolia. Prime Minister Martin Van Horten requests a fair re-evaluation of existing treaties and future renegotiations. Wayland Schmolak. The latest diplomatic message from the leader of Wayland warned us regarding a pathway from the mountains of Bergia that allowed traders of the state escaping to Swordland. President Victor Schmolak has demanded that the border security be increased. He also sent his best wishes about handling the protests in Swordland. Oh, I see what he means. I see. What was my promise about immigration? Was I gonna tighten immigration? I have no voice-activated services. Police overburdened and Astored. We've been receiving reports of a lack of equipment and staff and police forces in Astored with the escalating violence in the city. The officers have been working 12-hour shifts to suppress the protests to no avail. The police commissioner of Astored has requested reinforcements and extra supplies of tear gas from nearby cities. Narbel has police understaffing. Currently too understaffed to deal with the ongoing political violence. Due to the small size of the police force in the city, they've been working non-stop and a number of officers were sent to the hospital as a result of severe fatigue. Minister of the Interior Lelius Graf has been working with the head of police Carl Grieser to address the issue. Young Swords Youth Wing leader dead after terror attack. Local Young Swords Youth Wing leader in Uziren, Iak Torin, has claimed responsibility for the organized attack in the Bloodish Market that resulted in the death of 7. His base of operations had been raided and he was found dead inside with 2 bullet wounds to the back of the head. The scene was organized to make it look like a suicide. We're not able to get information about the location of the other ringleaders connected to the terrorist attack. Well, yeah. The Salt Dam at maximum capacity. The Salt Dam has reached its maximum capacity. The dam, a crucial element of the city's infrastructure, has been handling an enormous amount of water inflow recently. With the reservoir at full capacity, the dam's operational efficiency is under scrutiny. Maintenance checks are being conducted to ensure the dam's safety. Illegal KA-74s seized. A cache of Rumberg-made weapons, including 47 brand-new KA-74s, 2,800 bullets, 12 handguns, 27 grenades, and bomb-making equipment were found in the basement of an abandoned house in Erzeren. No suspects have been detained yet. The investigation is ongoing to determine the origins of the equipment. Illegal firearms found in Communist Party office. The Bergian security forces raided the local CP. Oh shit. Communist Party office after alleged attacks organized by one of their members and found illegal firearms in the office. The building has been closed and 22 members of the Communist Party of Swordland have been detained. Oh, Swordlander Communist Party! Founded in the 50s with the hope of bringing together many separate left-wing organizations in Swordland under one flag, the party has positioned itself between millennialism and Volkslandian socialism. The party was established by a group of millennialist politicians, union leaders, and a number of activists who were previously persecuted by Saul's term as president. Considered as a continuation of the political party, the same name that existed in the early years of the Swedish Republic, which was destroyed during the military coup and conflict in the 20s. In the 53 elections, the party won 8% of the vote, barely missing out on crossing the 10% election threshold in Swordland. Weapons seized in the Cultural Center. Local police forces report that a wardrobe full of heavy military equipment has been seized by the Young Swords Cultural Center in Jen. Regulars of the palace denied having any knowledge about the weapons. The owners of the building have been detained along with 13 other people. The police captured 22 rifles, 2 machine guns. The equipment belonged to the Swordish Armed Forces dated 1929, but kept in very good condition. They're just chilling. He means the control point game mode. Yeah, I'm actually talking about Five Gorge. Communist Party suspected a bomb attack. At 11:48 a.m., an unattended bag in front of the NFP office in Volgan was destroyed by the police on suspicions of a bomb threat, which were then verified. Upon further investigation, the Communist Party leader of Volgan, Milt Hanner, has been arrested in connection to the incident. No, let my boy go. Let's chill. That's a Swordish politician shot dead, folks. A Swordish poet and politician who had spoken out about the idea of the dictatorship of the proletariat was shot during the evening of Anton Rein's inauguration ball. Bernard Circus, a 53-year-old Swordish member of Assembly, was shot a number of times by a gunman at the entrance of Maroon Palace, who was identified to be a member of the Young Swords. Despite his radical views, Mr. Circus was elected to be an independent member of the Assembly in the 53 elections, and sadly, did not manage to live long enough to serve his duty. Oh fuck! He didn't even serve a term. He was said to have repeatedly received threats from Swordish nationalists who viewed him as a traitor for promoting millennialism in Swordland. Television footage showed the famous poet's body laying face down, draped with white sheet on the pavement in front of the gates of the Maroon Palace. Lilias Graf, the interior minister, said she had assigned a group of leading ministry officials to lead the hunt for the killers. Once again, dark hands have chosen our country and spilled blood and whole sword to achieve their dark goals. She told the news conference, "We're investigating all aspects of this crime." His funeral will be held tomorrow in his home city, Dayer. The local police have reported to have increased security measures for the ceremony and stand ready for a massive attendance. Interesting. Swordland Today reports unity despite differences. Swordland has 2 paths to the future, and this year is critical to decide which path we embark on. Amid a recession, the lack of stability and security caused by the death of Bernard Circus is an unacceptable reality. We need more jobs and a safe atmosphere if our country is supposed to grow and prosper. But how will we increase our employment and open new factories if there is blood flowing down the streets? Swordland will never reach its goals and advance society if we descend in a downward spiral of splintering our nation. Peace and prosperity now and forever. The only way out of a recession is bailing out businesses. This is true. Swordland's economy has been displaying a downward trend over the past 2 years of Alfonso's presidency. If we want to prevent our country from declaring bankruptcy, we need a way out of this recession, and we need it now. The economic downturn keeps hitting hard at the businesses which are struggling to stay afloat. It is clear that a helping hand from the government is required to control the situation. There is no other way apart from bailing out businesses to truly provide relief to the economy. This in turn should revitalize the economy by creating more employment opportunities and increasing production in Swordland. Just like my 1-month employment. This is so sad. Murder was a method of the past. Is this true? The tensions between the left and right extremists have increased in the country after the assassination of MP Bernard Circus. Protests and millennialist groups quickly turned into riots around the country. We are calling for a peaceful protest and dialogue instead of violence. After the attack that promoted the riots, a member of the Young Swords assassinating a member of the Assembly clearly shows that they're willing to use extreme actions, said Franz Richter in the speech in the Grand National Assembly. We live within these borders together, and therefore we all bear a responsibility, a duty to live together with our differences. Richter's unifying message is something that we all should listen to in these times of danger and loss. The murder was a method of the past, and it has tainted us, reminded us of who we were before and who we don't want to become in the future, said Richter, and stated that we as the citizens of this nation all bear a responsibility beyond ideologies, partisanships, or any other identity. A farewell to Bernard Circus. It is a sad moment for Swordland. We've lost a renowned poet who not only wrote about the struggles of the working class, but also acted on them. However, his decision to enter Swordish politics was met with a sick attack that ended his life. This was indeed intended as a message to all opposing voices in Swordland. We, the team here at The Radical, condemn this evil act of terror of the Young Swords, who we believe must be held accountable as a whole group. It is finally the time for the government to realize this organization as a terrorist threat and serve the justice that is due. Bernard Circus is always going to be in our hearts as a great Swordish poet, as a revolutionary, as the leader of the Swordish avant-garde, as a futurist, as a romantic, as a millennialist, but beyond all, as a symbol of freedom of speech. He is now a man who was murdered for speaking his mind. This cannot remain as yet another political murder of the sad reality of Swordland. In fact, it is time to change this. It's time to speak up as people. The most beautiful sea hasn't been crossed yet, said the great poet, reminding us to always have hope, and we must strive to have hope and to make them a reality. It is the best way to honor his memory. Bernard's Circus will be laid down in day or tomorrow. Any citizen who wants to pay respects is invited to attend. That's geopolitique, brother. That's geopolitique. Arcasian PMC descends on Maribone amid resource extraction controversy. In the midst of a politically unstable situation in Maribone, the largest Arcasian private military corporation, Palantor Security Solutions, has deployed its forces to... That's a very funny company name. Has deployed its forces to the resource-rich nation. Sources reveal that the Arcasian PMC has been contracted by several multinational corporations to secure and extract valuable natural resources amidst the chaos. Maribone, a country in the continent of Rica, has been grappling with internal strife and weak governance, leading to a power vacuum. This has opened the door for foreign interests to exploit the situation and extract the abundant resources, such as oil, minerals, rare earth metals, present within Maribone's borders. Reports suggest that PSS has already established several forward operating bases near key resource extraction sites, raising concerns about the long-term implications of this move on Maribone's sovereignty. Maribone is fucking cooked, brother. I'm sorry, it's over for them. They got the damn PMCs walk. They got Blackwater walking around. Vogsland labor unions drive further decentralized economic growth, empowering the workers. Helm Vogsland, building upon the foundations of Vogslandian socialism inspired by Emmerich Hagel's revolutionary ideas, labor unions are spearheading the next phase of decentralized economic growth and worker empowerment in Vogsland. This unique form of socialism, emphasizing a federal economic organization of society, continues to reshape the nation's political and economic landscape. The Vogsland Workers' Cooperative, a successful example of Vogslandian socialism in practice, has led to a remarkable 17% increase in productivity and an impressive 33% rise in worker satisfaction. Encouraged by these results, calls for the expansion of decentralized structures across various sectors of the economy have gained momentum. In light of these successes, Vogsland's Minister of Labor, Frida Albrechtsen, recently unveiled a new initiative in Helm, aimed at further expanding infrastructure, promoting scientific and technological advancements. We believe that the principles of Vogslandian socialism offer a sustainable and equitable path for our nation's future, Albrechtsen stated during a press conference in Stalord. As Vogsland moves forward with Emmerich Hagel's vision of a decentralized egalitarian society, the nation is solidifying its position as a leader in socialist thought and policymaking, both at home and abroad. With labor unions at the forefront of this movement, the ongoing development of Vogslandian socialism offers a promising blueprint for other nations seeking to implement similar reform. Interesting. BFF activity in the capital. Chief of Police Carl Grisha reports that two Bloodish women with affiliations to the Bloodish Freedom Front have been caught in Holsord before they could execute a terror attack at a crowded rally. Both women are listed as wanted criminals and enemies of the state. The arrested women have admitted their intentions to attack the National Front Party's rally at Saul Square when Kasaro Keebner gave his speech but rejected any connections to the BFF. Both claim that they were acting alone. Police reports that the situation is under control and further investigation is underway. How's the weather? It's cold as hell outside. I went outside to sweep today for like an hour. Because, like, I really didn't want to be on the sales floor right at that moment, and I was like, well, let me go sweep the porch. And I was like, oh, fuck, it's cold as hell out here. Alright, let's go eat dinner. Let's go eat dinner at the Rain family home. After a long day at the palace, I was finally home. I thanked Sergei and walked through the front gates, nodding at the two guards as I went by. Even as I turned the doorknob, I could hear Diana rushing down the stairs to greet me. I opened the door, and there she was, standing in front of me with expectant eyes. Papa, you're home. There's my beautiful princess. There's my bright little daughter. I lifted Diana up and hugged her while trying to put the keys in the tray next to the entrance. She was growing fast. Lifting her up was no longer as easy as it once was. How was school? Boring. I like my old school better. I put her down and her expression turned serious. Papa, are the bad men gone? Yes, your papa took care of everything. Okay, Papa. Diana dashed down the hallway. Mama, Papa's here. Is this true? She's baiting her, dude. She's baiting her out. Monica appeared next to the kitchen door. She was wearing an apron, holding a spatula in her hand. Like John Cena holding an ice cream. Beautiful. Diana, what did I tell you? No running in the house. Yes, Mama. Monica approached me and kissed me on the cheek. A tantalizing smell wafted from the kitchen behind her. How was your day, dear? Terrific. I finally got to do some grocery shopping just like the old times, and I'm making your favorite. You mean, don't tell me, it's fucking Lorsha. Dude, I love fucking, I love Gevelderfish, dude. Lorsha was a Leshaven specialty, usually reserved for special occasions. A rich seafood stew with a heady garlic and paprika kick. It was absolutely my favorite dish, especially paired with cabbage, a potent, unfiltered wine from Bergia. What's the occasion? No occasion, just wanted to cheer everyone up a bit. Her smile faded and she lowered her voice so that Diana couldn't hear her. Especially after what happened last night at the ball. I was worried, Anton, for you, for the children, and for the country. Diana suddenly appeared next to us. Mama. Yes, sweetheart. I'm fucking hungry. We'll eat in just a minute. Will you help me set the table? Anton, can you tell Frank to come down for dinner? He's been sulking in his room all day. Monica started taking out the plates when I headed upstairs to fetch my son. Loud rock and roll music echoed down the hallway from his room. I caught a faint hint of cigarette smoke. Knock on the door. There was no response. Knock on the door again. Still no response. Bang on the door. The stereo in Frank's room clicked off. All right. He unlocked and opened the door. What do you want? Food's ready. Great, I'm starving. Frank headed downstairs in the dining room and I followed after. The table was prepared and Monica was ladling food into the plates. Come on, have a seat. It won't be tasty if it's cold. As we started eating, the room went quiet. Monica's cooking was as delicious as ever, but I had the feeling that wasn't the reason nobody spoke. Monica was the first to break the silence. Say, did you know that they refurbished the grocery store? I don't know if you remember the owner. He's been there every day for the past 30 years. Can you imagine doing the same job for so long? What if you were president for 20 years, for example? Oh shit. Oh shit, dude. "20 years of this, I'd be dead." I realized my poor choice of words too late. Monica looked down at her plate. Anyway, the grocer really is a nice person. He threw in some extra vegetables with my... Frank suddenly slammed his hands on the table, rattling the plates. Monica and Diana and I stared at it. So, this is how it's going to be. We're just going to sit here like nothing happened? Dad, you could have been killed. Mom could have been killed. Any one of us could have died. Diana's lower lip started trembling. Monica put her hands on Frank's shoulder. And yet, we are all still alive. For now, but how long until this happens again? Frank got up from his seat. Fine, let's talk about it. Sit down. Frank took his seat again, scowling. What a fucking baby, dude! He's such a bitch baby. Don't worry, we're gonna be fine. How are we possibly gonna be fine? My security assured me they took all the necessary steps. The same security that let a person get shot in front of the palace? Frank, listen to your father. If your father says we don't need to worry, then we don't need to worry. You have to trust him. Monica turned to me. We all have to trust each other. Things calmed down a bit at the table. We finished our food in silence. Frank got up first and retreated back to his room. Monica lifted Diana up and plopped her in front of the living room TV before returning to the table. She sat down across from me. Anton, he's still young. I know, but there's not much longer we can shield him from the ugliness of the world. He's scared, Anton, and frankly, he isn't the only one. I promise, if there's truly any threat to this family, you'll be the first to know. She got up, stood behind me, and massaged my shoulders for a moment before leaving me alone in the dining room. I sat alone at the table and drained my glass of cabbage. Had I been lying to Frank and Diana? Was the threat to my family truly over? Time would tell. Let's see. More internet. Oh, the CSP has some. Oh, read the report. The CSP faction spotlights the workers' rights. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Okay, whatever you say, brother. Drawing international attention to the issue of labor conditions, a faction within the CSP has released a report on workers' rights within its member nations. As the CSP, consisting primarily of planned economies, navigates the growing capitalist influence of Arcasia and the ATO, this report highlights the need for labor protections. The document provides a detailed analysis of workers' rights and labor conditions within CSP member nations spanning several continents. It states that these nations exceed global standards with an average minimum wage 45% higher and industrial sector unionization rates at 95%. However, it also addresses issues such as gender wage gaps averaging 12% within the CSP nations. The report advocates for stricter enforcement of labor laws. Agreed, brother. Morella? I love mushrooms, dude. They named the damn country after the mushroom. Condolences for Circus. In the wake of Bernard Circus's untimely passing, Prime Minister Alma Sultana Morella conveyed heartfelt condolences to the people of Swordland. The leader recognized Circus as an influential poet and an advocate for millennialist ideas, lamenting his loss as a blow to the literary and political world. She called for the memorialization of Circus's contribution to social discourse and reaffirmed Morella's commitment to the ideals he espoused. Psy asses. Damn, what a name, brother. They got Long Island in Morella. Why would they do that? Protests across Swordland. Protests erupted around Swordland after the death of Bernard Circus, many of which started peaceful but soon turned violent. Protesters with red youth flags were seen in most central cities around Swordland carrying out violent riots, organizing protests that disrupt much vital services from being delivered to the Swordish people. Protesters held sit-ins, which were broken up by riot police with tear gas and water cannons in the regions of Bergia, Agenland, and Gruny. Thousands of people poured into the Republic Avenue in Leshaven and Sol Square in Holsword in response to the Young Swords' attack. Similar protests around Swordland soon turned into violent riots. That's protests, brother. Mushroombus? Amoongus. Who's that Pokemon? It's Amoongus. The Verloa Bay. Protests are taking place throughout the Gruny region in response to the assassination of Bernard Circus. The protesters raised their concerns about the young swords, the increased cost of living, and an inequality prevalent in the country. Large rallies have been organized in the city centers of Benfey and Boren. Large congregation of Red Youth members have organized sit-ins and protests aimed at hampering public transportation in the city of Volgan, which brought the city to a standstill for a few hours before riot police came in to disperse large groups of protesters at transportation nodes. That's political chaos, brother, at the Leshaven time. If there are protests, why are there not O-tests? Political violence has surrounded Swordland since yesterday. While officials from the police claim to have the situation under control, protests are turning into riots and violent attacks are occurring around the country. The NFP and LUS call for protests. Kazaro Keebner of the National Front Party called rally to condemn communist influence from United Campania and called the violent protesters as traitors to Swordland. These millennialists are roaming in our streets, conducting violent attacks in disguise as peaceful protesters. We can't let them exploit a man's murder, said Keebner in a press conference. On the other hand, the Labor Union of Swordland... Is this? The oldest NGO of Swordland. That's funny. Has gathered to condemn nationalist violence in Swordland. The protests gather crowds of several thousands of agitators from both sides in Holsword. The acts of vandalism occurred. Katrina Horton accused Keebner for provoking the public. Horton is spokesperson for the Labor Union of Swordland. Interesting. The Young Swords vandalized shops. A group of people with Young Swords flags have vandalized a dozen of the shops in the trade district of Anrika, specifically targeting the Bloodish and Agno-Swordish minorities. The shop owners who defended themselves were wounded in the attacks. The local police broke the groups apart. NFP office burned. A group of violent militants have assaulted the National Front Party headquarters in Morna and committed arson. Firefighters have been called to the scene where fires raged for hours on end. Several nearby houses burned to the ground before it was brought under control. Unrest in Swordland. It sure as hell sounds like it. It sure as hell sounds like it, man. They're lighting the damn country on fire. Arvery, yesterday morning, hundreds of nationalists descended on the PFJP party office in Arvery. Really? That's funny. After the supportive statements of Franz Richter about Bernard Circus, the office was stoned by the aggressive group, and several citizens were wounded in the chaos. Later in the evening, another group of militants fired shots at 5 people who were inside the Communist Party's local office, killing 4. After receiving a gunshot complaint from the neighbors, police arrived at the scene to find 3 wounded and 1 dead. The ambulance was called but didn't arrive in time to save the wounded. Jen, protesters have gathered to condemn the murder of Bernard Circus in the nationalist stronghold of Jen. Tensions quickly increased when a counter-march of nationalists met the protesters. The 2 groups clashed and riot police had to intervene and disperse. 23 people, including a police officer, were wounded. God, guys, come on now. That's widespread protest. I'm never gonna get this fucking speedway done if you guys keep shooting at each other. I arrived in front of the doors leading to the Situation Room. Today's security briefing was arranged in 2 parts, starting with the internal matters and moving on to external matters after a short break. The Minister of Interior, Lelius Graf, and the Minister of Justice of Law and Law, Nia Morgna, would join us for the first part, the law enforcement briefing. For the second part, the Minister of Defense, Josef Lincea, would join the few high-ranking officials, including the Chief of the Armed Forces, Volkan Kruger. General Luray. I opened the door. Lucien, Nia, and Lelius rose from their seats. Sir? Nodded at Lucien. I nodded at Lucien and sat down. Everyone in the room sat down except for Lucien. He put on his glasses and went through the documents in front of him. Shortly after, he raised his head to address the attendees. Mr. President, ladies, we will kick off today's meeting with the internal security briefing. Yay! I love a good internal security briefing. I am assuming everyone has already been over the agenda. We will have busy schedules, so without further ado, I will jump into our first topic. As we feared, the political atmosphere has worsened. The reports around the country indicate that tensions are rising as we feared. What is the status of Bernard Circus's investigation? I've received news that morning that the investigation into the murder of Bernard Circus has concluded. Please enlighten us. The more we know, the better. After further investigation and testimonies, we have confirmed the motive and also the events leading up to the shooting. A few days prior, members of the Red Youth initiated a violent attack on the Young Sword local leader in Jen. We believe the Young Swords then called for revenge, leading to the death of Mr. Circus. Since he often spoke against the Young Swords and nationalist sentiments of the Assembly, he was a big target, not to mention his radical communist views. Radical? Swordland just lost a great writer, for what? It is unfortunate, but it is likely that an incident would happen. Lelius handed over the report and pointed at a highlighted section of the document. The investigation revealed a very troubling fact. The funding sources of the Red Youth have a clear link to United Companion. Are you sure? Yes, we found the cash trail. Several Red Youth members with ties to United Contania have been detained, and the information extracted from them points to a preparation for a communist uprising in Swordland. It is unusual for the superpowers to influence other nations, but I think this case is a little far-fetched. The left lacks popular support in Swordland. Nia eagerly lifts her hand. I motion for her to speak. I went over the report in detail. It would be wrong to jump to conclusions about a clear foreign interference yet. United Contania has humanitarian and cultural ties with many countries, including Swordland. I also don't want to jump to conclusions immediately. We should create a crisis. We shouldn't create a crisis with them. Nearly 3 decades ago, they funded General Ricard and tried to establish a communist dictatorship in our country. If it was not for Colonel Saul, we would have seen the real crisis. She took a sip from her glass of water and continued. Our police chief, Carl Grieser, has linked the funding channels to the United Contanian consulate in Benfey. Benfey, huh? As we know, the enemies of Swordland are many, but we also have threats inside the country. We need to remain vigilant. If we give up essential freedoms to purchase temporary security, we deserve neither freedoms nor security. This is debatable, but yes, we know what more security and surveillance caused to this country under President Saul. Let's not forget that President Saul, God bless him, brought stability after a long period of bloodshed and chaos, but moving on. Our highest internal threat comes from the estimated 20,000-strong Bloodish Freedom Front led by the imprisoned Duel and Arg. They are a banned political organization, now a militant force that's trying to incite radical violence. Oh shit. Make a lot of noise but have little substance. A barking dog doesn't bite. Are they supported by our bloodish citizens? To some extent. Luckily, they couldn't attract a wide audience of Bloods, but they could potentially attract thousands of anti-Bloodish sentiment if anti-Bloodish sentiment spreads in Swordland again. Lelius pointed to page 3 in her report. Our intelligence intercepted 2 crates filled with weapons close to the Rumburg border. They were filled with military-grade Ka-74s. Alright, we're gonna die. We expect that more have been smuggled in. A group of Bloods were caught with these guns at a checkpoint not far away. The governor of Bergia, Felix Braun, is already taking the necessary measures to counter the threat. Rumburg has been acting aggressively in the region for a long time. I'm not surprised that they would attempt to weaponize the Bloodish people against us. This is worrying, very worrying. You keep a level headed with Rumburg. They are looking for reasons to take action. Can't let anyone. Expected that Rumburg would undermine us, but this is too far. I agree. The prospect of arming our population against us is a step too far. This is grave news, but we must be careful not to stoke the fires of anti-Bloodish sentiment. Unfortunately, Governor Braun is directly causing the tensions to increase with his increasingly anti-Bloodish stance. I must remind you, Governor Braun is directly responsible for the arrest of Duel and Arg, the previous leader of the BFF. It's true that his methods can be extreme at times, but it was his policies that kept the region peaceful over the last decade. He's misusing the powers given to him by Tarkeen Saul. The insane authority of the governor is surely a root cause. It would be very difficult to revoke the special status of Bergia under the current circumstances. Ms. Morgna, the presidents no longer have the authority Tarkeen Saul enjoyed. For now, yes, but with enough justification for it, it would be possible. Anyway, we'll be discussing this at a later time. Tell me more about the Special Zone. As you know, Bergia has been given a special status by Saul after a full-scale uprising by the BFF against the Swordish government in 35. These couple of years were disastrous for Bergia. Duelin Arg and the BFF declared war on us, openly attacked our people and occupied entire cities. It was a massive uprising. I'd like to point out that the longest time they were in control of a city was 2 weeks. I wouldn't call this an occupation. Despite the arrest of Duelin Arg in 44, this guy's important, man. God, he's got a whole biography. The special status of the region were never revoked. Today, the special zone of Bergia, I don't know, I don't remember what our campaign promises were, but I think I'd like to expand. I'd like to give Bergia autonomy. Today, the special zone of Bergia gives the governor insane amounts of authority. He was in trouble with the law before for not following the central government's authority. Unfortunately, Bergia also has its own police forces directly commanded by Governor Braun. They are not part of the ministry and only cooperate when they are forced to do so. This is a problem. Even though our forces have the authority to serve in Bergia, the special zone leaves the security of Bergia mostly in the hands of the governor. That leaves my hands tied. Insane, absurd that the Ministry of Interior doesn't have full control over Bergia's security. I agree. I have some ideas about it already, but we could talk about that at a later time. Nia gestured to Lelius. What is the second most important threat? It's a gang violence that's threatening the Nargis and Aganland regions. 2 prominent organized crime families are at war, and the potential for bloodshed is real. What 2 crime families? One is known as the Coronelli. The other is the Skinner Cartel. Both are active in the cities of Narbel and Astor. They're playing with fire. I want them gone for good. While I agree it would make Swordland a better place, it will not be easy. These gangs exist because corruption is so common in our country. They buy our police officers and slip by checkpoints. Elias Graff sighed deeply. I shall be honest with you. With our current capabilities, we may not be able to prevent the further arming of separatists while maintaining order in Bergia, Nargis, and Aganland. You promised to increase Swordland's security and law enforcement budget. You must keep this promise. We'll stick to that promise, especially in light of all the information. We will rid our country from separatists and violent thugs if you support us. I wish you would stop using the word thugs, Lelius. The real problem is corruption, which is fueling the gang violence and is very likely the reason why these weapons were smuggled in. A higher budget could help us end that. Corruption is the root of all evil, after all. Corruption is the root of all evil, after all. That's true. We can look into corruption once the weapons have been found and the gangs have been beat. Just like previous administrations, kicking the can down the road. This is what's destroying our institutions. Lelius and Nia were openly scowling at each other. Lelius turned back to her notes. Well, this concludes the topics for the internal portion. Thank you for the updates, Miss Graf, Miss Morgna. Thank you for the overview. Have a good day. Until next time. The two ministers left the room. We took a short break before continuing to the second part. Upon invitation, Joseph Lensea, along with the three high-ranking officials from the Ministry of Defense, walked into the room. One of the men was none other than General Kruger, the chief of the armed forces. Joseph made his way to the table while the others stood by the door. Mr. President. Let's begin. I brought General Kruger with me due to the escalation on our border. General Kruger stepped forward and saluted. He had a strong jaw with sharp cheekbones. His tall stature, uniform, and medals, combined with his deep and intense stare, made him look threatening. He was in his 70s, yet he had a bulky body that was the result of his commando training. Not only was he the second most decorated officer in Swordland, he was also the longest serving. Salute him. I saluted him. He smiled at the gesture and bowed his head in respect. Oh my god, lol. I got owned. I got owned, brother. Yosef tapped his foot impatiently. He seemed uneasy with the presence of another high-ranking officer in the room. Gentlemen, thanks for coming to this significant gathering. Let's begin. Yosef and Vulcan took their seats at the table while the rest of the officers stood by the door. Mr. President, the situation at the western and northern borders towards Rumburg is very tense. We're observing deployments of divisions closer to our border. Rumburg has been acting increasingly expansionist in the past decades and also interfered in Ignolia, but now they have turned their sights on us. This concerns me. What's your current strategy? Patrolling close to the border with our border force and keeping Army Reserve divisions near. It seems like they want to increase the pressure both externally and internally. Mr. President, if I may. Please, General. The picture is becoming clear. The latest information from the interior about the weapons caches, and now there's an active military buildup close to our borders. The entire situation was analyzed by our general staff, and our prediction is a future territorial incursion by Rumburg. Let them come. We'll give them hell. I share your enthusiasm. We draw our strength from the brave sons and daughters of Swordland, but we wouldn't be able to stand against them right now. I require an increase in the military budget to enlist more soldiers. Only then we could stand strong against our enemies. The enlarged armed forces will hold them at bay. Vulcan is right. We do need an increase in military budget, although we don't see eye to eye on exactly how to spend the budget. That much we agree on. I have my concerns about Rumburg too. We need strong allies to withstand such a superior power. They are our nemesis. That is an understatement. Times are changing and war is coming, Mr. President. Whether we like it or not, we must be prepared. Do-do-do. During the election, you said nothing about focusing on our military. I asked you to reconsider and to increase the military budget. The future and safety of Swordland is in your hands. I am a man of my word, Joseph. That is a valuable trait, Mr. President. However, it will not help when the enemy armies are invading our cities. Our forces would crumble under a decrease, and Rumburg would be much more compelled to exploit our weakness. Our country hasn't fallen to any invading force for 200 years. You cannot let it happen, Mr. President. We should find regional allies like Volgsland or Lesbia to deter Rumburg. There are several options at the table. Rumburg wouldn't attack any nation allied with a superpower. These options should be considered. They could be considered, but why pander to others when we can solve our issues ourselves? We have no true friends outside these borders. Everyone fell silent when the soldier entered the room to let Joseph Lensea know that a call had come through the ministry. Excuse me, Mr. President. Joseph left the room to answer. A few minutes later, he entered the room again. His expression had changed. Mr. President, there's been a Rumburgian military activity close to the Honorable border. I just spoke with the local commander. Vulcan, we should go to the ministry and get further updates from our branches. Understood. Raising military readiness is the first call of action. If there is truly an extraordinary attempt, we will relay it to you immediately. And wait for further orders, Mr. President. Go and show them the might of the Swordish armed forces. We will. You can be sure of that. Hail Swordland. Hail. They saluted and left the room. Rumburg was already testing us, and the reports from the interior indicate interference inside our borders. Communist, nationalist, bloodish rebels, Rumburg expansionism. What was next? Swordland had already been a key piece in the chessboard of the global rivalry between Arcasia and UC, but in recent years there was no such aggression from Rumburg. Not at these levels, at least. All it takes is one tiny spark to start the flames of war. The phone rang. Rumburg had decided to close their consulate in Leshaven. Boo! Boo! Oh yeah? Well, I'm gonna fucking close my consulate. Yeah, I'm gonna close my fucking consulate in Thornburg or Crimsrat or Dome or whatever the fuck. Or, you know, whatever the fuck. Already at war. Already at war again. I wonder if you can go to war. Hang on. I wonder if you can go to war with Earth in Lunar Ascendancy. Ooh. Ooh, I hadn't considered that. That would be chill. I guess we would just be like terrorists, wouldn't we? Oh, my spine! Spine without the Q, dude. They took the Q out of spine. I can't believe it's already Sunday. Alright, guys, that's gonna be it for me tonight. I am going to try and remember to make a schedule for this week and upload the pre-streams. Tonight. I will do my best to remember to. With that being said, I gotta go, man. I gotta go. I gotta take a shower. I gotta go make sure my alcohol hasn't exploded all over my sink. I gotta do my dishes. I might eat dinner, I might not. I don't know. We'll see. But alright, everybody. I will catch you tomorrow. For... Who knows? Oh my god, who knows? Who knows, dude? Who fucking knows, man? Oh my god, who knows?